Hello YouTube, in this tutorial we're gonna learn how to generate list of random numbers. For example, you're creating coordinates for your players in some game you're creating or something like that, or you're messing around with cryptography, such a thing. So let's start typing. And the thing is that first we need to create container for that random number. Let's say R. This is just a handle for that container name. And now we need to use the part of C++ which is a rand function. Okay, and immediately down there we are going to print that result, and we are going to finish it with end line. So check what's gonna happen. Let's run this stuff and the problem. So error, rand was not declared in this scope. Well, how is that possible when this thing is a part of C++ standard library? Well, exactly, we need to grab stuff from header file. So include, and you know this header file because you already used that thing when we were messing around with the running calculator notepad using a system command. So tstd lib, and now the thing will work. Let me test that, and there you go. So people will say, cool, I learned how to generate at least one random number. Well, there is a problem here. If you run this stuff again, still the same number. So how is that even random? If you rebuild your project, well, let's test that and let's run it again, still 41. So it's a kind of problem. Now some people will say, well, cool, I'm just going to use a for loop to generate those 20 numbers and they will be different. Well, let's test that. Okay, here we are going to say what is our starting point in a for loop. Let's say 0, and let's construct it down there. So for 0 from for x from 0 up till let's say 20 numbers. That's how random numbers we need, and algorithm will be just +1, already existing x in that moment of time plus +1. Okay, so now down there you cannot go and say this like a cout and r and end line. Here is why. Let me explain. Let me remove this stuff and arrange this better. So check this out. When we run this code, we got the same number 20 times. See, these are, but that's not what we need. So we must not call this container, we must call actual function 20 times independently. Okay, so for every pass calling, we're gonna call that function. No, so there is no other way. Okay, there is no shortcut. You must call it every time when you wanna grab another random number. How to do that? Well, you're going to say rand, and some people will be quick to type here semicolon. So let's actually do that to see what's gonna happen. And the result is there is statement has no effect and unused variable r. So that's not actually that problem. This is just a warning, but this is a problem. Expected primary expression before this token. Well, in practice that means you cannot use two semicolons in a same command. So use function without semicolon because this is ending semicolon. So this is actually end of this command, and now the thing will work with different integers. See, there you go. So probably some people will say, great, I have that much random numbers, that's fine. Well, here's the problem. Just remember, for example, this second number, like 6334, and let's run this stuff again. Well, check this out, 6334, so that's bad. So let's rebuild it and let's run it. 6334. So this is kind of stupid. Well, the thing is that we actually need to solve this issue, we need to call the time right now, because time is a source of randomness in this case. Okay, So to do that, we up here, before stating all other things, we need to use srand function. Okay, and now let's run this program, and we have a problem. Too few arguments to function. So how to do that in C++? Well, time and 0. So this is a C++ way. Now also, when we are working with time, we need to grab external library like include, and that library is ctime, and now the thing will work. Check this out. There you go. So let's remember a couple of numbers. I don't know this because if I run this thing a couple of times, I need to close this one, so I will forget what is on the screen. So let me just try to pass this into Notepad, I think. Yeah, like this. Okay, so this is one pass, and we have random numbers. Okay, so that's cool. So let's get out from here, and now let's have a little bit of like a division here. Not division, but separation. So now let's run this stuff again, and guess what? We have a different results, which is what we actually need. See, different results. So let's grab those things just for testing purposes to be sure. Let's copy paste it down there, and a little bit of separation, and let's run this thing again to make sure. With rebuilding, sure, we can do that, no problem. And let's build and run this stuff, and now we have again different integers. So it's a cool, everything works. So let's compare stuff, try to see if there is any same numbers here, which will be the purpose of randomness. So apparently, if you ask me, I mean, I don't have very good memory, but I think that there is no same numbers here. So yeah, I think that I'm pretty much good. So let's go to our to our example one more time to see what's happening. So this is the case. When you need to grab random numbers for some reason, for some purpose, grab standard library, because you need this function, and then grab ctime header library, call it whatever you like, because you need this function. So actually, when you are passing things to this function as an argument, you must type 0 to feed something to that function. Okay, and then you can yeah, let me check what I was doing. Oh yeah, so we are asking the rand function to be, or no, I don't need this, sorry, I don't need this thing at all. So here we are calling 20 times, because of for loop, we are calling 20 times this function, and now everything will be fine. And I suppose you know about for loop, we done that in a couple of last tutorials. But where is my editor? For some reason, I cannot rebuild this thing again. Let me see what's happening. Oh yeah, I found it. I minimized this. So every time in code block, basically when you put this in a background and minimize things, you cannot proceed to next compilation process, which is dumb, but I mean, that's how it is. So yeah, let me test that. And there you go, everything works. Let me test that one more time. What was the last one? 15552. And let me check that. Yeah, definitely everything is fine. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it. If you need more information what is in this library, search for that on internet, and specifically you probably want to go into this function, what kind of arguments we can pass it, this function, independent one, and this function. But to do that you probably need, I don't know, like 15-20 minutes, so I don't want to go into a lengthy explanation. You have that into documentation. And you're gonna use this stuff definitely not just in C++, but also when you're creating some game in Python or something like that. Alright, that's pretty much about it. Thank you for watching and see you next tutorial.